Welcome, Warrior Nation. Once again, I'm Doug Winters. It's been a long time. The winter season is over, and now we're heading to spring. And right now on the Warrior Broadcasting Network, we'd like to thank Coach Joel Riffle for stopping by. Again, Joel is a third-year coach of soccer, the boys soccer team here. We'd like to welcome you here today.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
First off, for the Warrior Nation, can you maybe give us a short bio?
Yeah. I started my coaching career at Cushing as a volunteer assistant coach during my student teaching. Took a year off looking for a job, ended up here. This is now my 5th year here. 3rd year as a head coach. Spent 2 years as an assistant for the boys.
How about playing experience? Did you play?
Playing, I did play. I've played soccer from the time I can remember. I started in kindergarten, played all the way through high school. Was an all-state player my senior year for the west side of the state. Had a couple of offers to play in college. Decided not to go. Wanted to go to a big university, so I spent 4 years at Oklahoma State getting my teaching degree.
Sweet. And where'd you graduate from?
Lawton MacArthur.
Big school.
Big school.
Big school. Well, that sounds like you have a lot of experience. I don't. Let's talk about this year's team. Maybe going back a little bit. You had a great end to last season, did you not?
Yeah, we had a really good year last year. We ended up picking up school history's first boys playoff win. It was a lot of fun for us. We carried a lot of that momentum over into our preseason, into second trimester, and the attitude is still there. The desire to do more, to be better, it's all there. So really had high expectations coming into this year.
Well, that was exciting. I know you won 8 of your last 9 after kind of a slow start. Again, you guys won in overtime? Won in overtime, which set school history, and then you dropped a 1-goal game to Miami in the state quarterfinals. So you made it all the way to the quarterfinals, and you lose that game. It's kind of bittersweet.
It definitely was. I remember that night we were up 3-2 and had a chance to win it. Gave up a couple of goals there at the end. We gave up the last goal with something like 5 minutes left. Didn't have time to process that we were going to lose the game because it was so late on. I remember after the game was over just sitting there telling the boys, I don't know what happened. It was a weird night. So,
yeah. Well, how many guys did you have coming back from that squad from last year?
From that squad, we returned 9 out of 11.
Man, that's got to drive you in the off season. You know, you're right there. That brass ring is right there, and you do so many good things, winning 8 of the last 9. Did that make the off season workouts easier?
You know, I don't know if it made it any easier or if it made it tougher. Knowing that we had the ability and the potential and the skill to really continue the season last year, we came into it, we didn't change a whole lot. We're still running the same formation, the same system. Our main goal was just making sure that we were pushing and getting harder or getting better for this year to make the same type of run.
Okay. I just didn't know if maybe the players just were maybe a little more motivated and turned on to off season, because sometimes off season is so tough.
Yeah, sometimes the off season can be a really tough time when you've got those guys coming back that maybe they think it's real easy just to get back into the groove. But no, I mean, these guys, they took the off season workouts seriously. They made sure that they were pushing all the way through. Our team motto is hard work pays off, and we're trying to prove that.
Workers are winners, that's for sure. Well, let's get to this year's team. I know it's early on, and you're 2-2. Yep. Can you tell the fans who we've played?
We opened the season against Fort Gibson, and Fort
perennial
Gibson,
power.
They're always a tough team.
Yes.
Very good team to play against. We dropped that one 4-1. It was probably a much closer game than that. It is what it is. We ended up second game dropping it to Pryor. Lost 3-0 on that one.
5A?
5A school.
And we are 4A.
We are 4A in soccer. Yeah.
Okay.
So we after those 2 games, I think it's real easy for us to kind of get in that mindset of, well, maybe we're not where we wanted to be, or maybe we thought maybe we're overshooting, maybe we're not the same type of team that we were last year. But these boys, they're confident, and they're sure of themselves, and they're pretty sure in their skills and their abilities, and they trust the system. So we had a great bounce back right before spring break against Muskogee. Ended up winning that one 3-2.
6A.
6A school.
They're usually pretty good.
Yeah, so we get a little bit of confidence right before the break. I don't like early games after spring break. You don't get a whole lot of practice time. You don't get a lot of time with the team. But yeah, last night we went up to Claremore and ended up winning a 2-1 game there, and that's a fantastic win.
Huge.
It's one of those wins that just really can kind of springboard the rest of the season.
Well, we're looking for that. I guess the next thing maybe our fans out there want to know is soccer kind of works like football in the fact that you don't have rankings where they seed you. You have districts.
Yeah, we are districts.
So maybe tell the fans out there how that works, maybe who's in our district, and how does the playoffs set up out of that district?
Yeah, so just like football, we're in a district, so we will have the top 4 teams out of our district will advance into the playoffs. We have the largest district in the entire state. There are 9 teams. That includes us, so
4 teams go out of the 9.
4 out of the 9. Some of those teams we're going to play Bristow, Cushing, Holland Hall, Victory Christian. Some of those teams are quite a bit stronger than others. Some of them are not very strong at all. We will start district play against Bristow at home on March 28th.
So next week?
Yeah, just next week, March
district
28th.
play starts for almost everyone.
Yep, so we'll start district play. We've got just one more tournament before we start district. Once we get into districts, it's based on win-loss against those in your district.
So the tough teams, who do you project? I know there's, 3 private schools?
Yeah.
They usually scare soccer teams. Victory
is there.
Holland Hall, brand new to
Holland
the
Hall
OSSAA.
Yeah, that one is the one that I think, as soon as I found out they were going to be in our district, I think I circled that date and said that one needs to be one that we are paying attention to. I think the toughest that we're going to see probably will come out of Victory, honestly, just because of that little bit of a rivalry that's kind of developed there. Their head coach used to be the head coach here, so there's a little bit of familiarity with the players, which I think is great. I love rivalry games, and I think that that's another one where if you ask any one of the soccer boys if they got to choose one game to win out of the year, I would venture to say most of them would say they want to win that Victory game.
And I would agree with you. You talked about the tournament that's coming up. I saw where you have another tough opening round game. Cascia?
Yeah,
Cascia
we
Hall?
are. We're going to get Cascia Hall at 10:30 Friday morning, so it'll be a little different. Tournaments are fun, but they're weird. We're used to playing at night, playing Cascia Hall early in the morning. It's a tough chore, I think, trying to get the team ready to go early in the morning. But I think that's a challenge we're looking forward to. My philosophy when I try to build our schedule is to schedule as tough as I can. I don't ever want to schedule games that I don't think we can win, but I'm also not afraid to schedule teams that are going to challenge us.
And I was going to ask you about your philosophy on scheduling. I know last year it looked like you had a slow start, really came on strong. You have that many returning starters coming back. So I was going to ask you on your philosophy on that.
Yeah, I have no problem scheduling games that I know are going to be tough. And really, at this point last year, we only had 1 win going into our tournament. This year, we're looking at 2 going into our tournament, and those 2 wins are pretty big wins. So I think it gives us a lot of confidence moving on into district play. So we'll see.
Let's talk about the team specifically. Can you maybe tell the fans out there who may be thinking about coming to a game or watching it on this great channel, who to look for? Seniors or maybe leaders that you think would be worth mentioning?
Yeah, I think the top three that I'm going to give you are the team captains.
Very good.
We do our captains based on a team vote. The team chooses them, and that's one thing that I love. I love that the team selects their own leaders, and they've done a fantastic job this year. Starting at the back, our goalkeeper, Jake Kitchens, done a fantastic job. He's relatively new to the sport as far as I know. He came out his sophomore year and told us he wanted to play, and so we said, all right, let's see what you got. And he's got some fantastic reactions and a great leadership mindset. It's one of those things that it's an intangible.
You bet.
It helps the team. Moving up, we have Michael Pringle on the defensive line. He is a great vocal leader, where Jake might be a little more reserved and more of that kind of just lead by example. Michael is a much more vocal leader, willing to help the team shift and move the way that it should. And then into the midfield, we have CJ Rumley, who he's a 3-year captain as a junior. He's been a great skill leader. Another one that leads by example, does everything that you ask him to do, and tries to do everything the right way, which is absolutely fantastic.
Anybody else
And
that surprised you recently, or?
I'm gonna go ahead and throw him a bone. Taylor Long. Taylor Long has absolutely played outside of his mind. Last night he was named man of the match. He doesn't have anything on the stat sheet that would really wow you, but he did everything right last night. He's one of those that I had a conversation with him during the offseason or during the preseason, and I said, I'm really thankful that he came back. Last year I might not have said that, but he is a great guy that has done everything we've asked him to do and has been great at it.
That's fantastic. For maybe the novice soccer fan that's wanting to jump on board and watch our Warrior boys play, you mentioned they believe in our system and our formation. Mm-hmm. Can you maybe give the novice a little heads up on that?
Yeah, our formation, we have, working from the back, one goalkeeper as by rule. If we could have more, maybe we would. But we have a defensive line. We run with 4 defenders, and we run it flat across the field. There are some that will run one in front of another with outside defenders, but we run 4 flat across the back. Gives us a lot of strength, a lot of mobility. It gives our outside back some freedom to maybe move up into the midfield and help on the attack. In the midfield, we run with 5 midfielders, which is maybe a little unconventional, but it really helps us where a lot of our strength is. So we have 3 central midfielders who have the freedom to rotate and move around as they see necessary, and 2 outside midfielders that really, they're going the length of the field. They're going to be the guys that probably are going to be the first ones to ask for a sub.
I was going to say in shape.
They are. They're the ones that are doing, I've never put a pedometer on them, but maybe one of these times I should. I'd venture to say they're running 3 or 4 miles a night. They're great. And we run with 1 striker, which again, in high school, I think is a little unconventional. So our formation is a 4-5-1, working from the back forward. A lot of the high school teams in the area will run a 4-4-2
yes.
or a 4-3-3. Now, in my playing experience, I was an outside midfielder, and so by trade, I love to have the width. I like the wide play, and so that's why we use 5 midfielders. But in reality, like I said with the system, our system is very fluid. It starts out as a 4-5-1 that maybe as we move into the attack actually becomes a 4-3-3. Our outside midfielders will move forward. Right. Or maybe one of those central midfielders will move up and the outside midfielder moves in. All of our boys are, I won't say trained, but they definitely have an understanding. We made a big deal this year of making sure that everybody understands the role of each position.
That's huge.
That way, when maybe our center back has to make a run forward, and he becomes that outside midfielder, he knows what he's supposed to do. he may not be great at it, but he knows what he should do.
Right.
And so when he moves forward, maybe one of our center midfielders drops back and becomes a defender. The outside midfielder moves in and becomes a central midfielder. And it's just this constant flow of players, and it's chaotic and messy and beautiful.
And that's what I've been fascinated with. I have a niece who's verbal to Texas A&M, so I really started taking an interest in soccer. And it's hard for a guy who's never been around it much. But over the last 3 or 4 years, I've been fascinated with the formations and the plays. And being a coach, players have to know their roles, no matter what sport. And just the offense and defense philosophy reminds me a lot of my sport.
You know?
And I grew an appreciation. It wasn't just some guys running around kicking a ball.
Right. I think the biggest thing that I talk about, especially with guys that are new out to soccer, I say, really, this is a bigger version of basketball. That's really all it is. As long as you understand how to move, and you have to move without the ball if you want to get the ball.
Tremendous.
If you don't move without the ball, you're never going to see it.
Right.
So when we have guys that are checking back into a pass or checking away from a pass, it really is a lot like your sport.
It is, and those of you out there, you need to watch it. It is very, even though it may be a 2-1 game, there's some beauty in a 2-1 ball game. So I'm excited to broadcast. I'm getting to broadcast this year, and I'm excited to do it. So, do you have anything else you might want to say to the Warrior faithful?
I would say if you've never been out to a game, make sure you get out. It's a lot of fun. These boys are working hard, and they really enjoy the support. We've got a few little things that we like to do after games. So maybe if you show up and we get the W, you get to see us do a nice little slow clap. It's a pretty exciting thing. Kind of catches people off guard, I think, but it's nice. It's new. It keeps the boys happy. Come on out, enjoy it, and senior night is early this year. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there.
Go ahead.
We've got senior night is going to be April 7th. That's our last night that the boys and girls are playing at home together. So if nothing else, make it out to that one. Make it out for senior night so that we can give these guys the support that they've really earned.
Well, we want to say thank you. Appreciate you being here. It was a great interview. It was fun.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Warrior fans, I'll tell you what, we need to show up for these young men. And again, get on the website, check the schedule. And on behalf of all the guys here in the production studio and Mr. Condren, who's doing a wonderful job with his great program, I'm Doug Winters saying good day and go Warrior Nation.